Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of The Fishing Teacher. Really appreciate you guys swinging by and joining me for today's video. I'm going to show you guys what is one of my favorite early season crankbaits today. This is a fish catching mother, like I said in the title of the video. We briefly touched upon this in the past, but we haven't really touched upon it this time of year specifically. So I'm going to give you guys some good tips and advice on it, which is the Megabass Flap Slap crankbait. There's some secrets to the thing that it just makes it one of my favorite crankbaits from this time of year up until about early April. Also, guys, just a real quick reminder, just like to invite everybody out there, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe to The Fishing Teacher, that'd be much appreciated by hitting that subscribe button and the notification button so you don't miss any videos. It's a good way to support the channel. Okay, guys, I think that we have done one other video on this in the past, but I wanted to reiterate some stuff with the Megabass Flaps up here, specifically early in the year. Between actually February and March are the two best months of the year to fish this thing. And I'm gonna give you guys some tips and advice on it. Now, here's what it is, guys. The Megabass Flap Slap, this is one of the most realistic looking lures I have ever seen. It's the exact size of a threadfin shad. It looks exactly like one. It's the same, thickness across the back, different color patterns, look just like a shad here. And I have just caught so many cold water fish on it. And also, guys, I will put my Tackle Warehouse link in the description to this bait if you want to pick up a couple of them. But by far and large, one of my favorite cold water crankbaits out there. In this color, guys, this color here is called the HT Tennessee Shad. And you can see how chewed up and how used up this thing is. I've caught a ton of fish on it. Most of the time I do put like a suspend dot on the bottom of it in cold water because I want it to be neutral. I don't want it to float up. And if you don't put a suspend dot on it, this thing will float up about like that. So wait it a little bit to get it suspended like that. Now, guys, the reason this thing is so good is a couple different reasons. Number one, it's a real subtle bait. Doesn't make any noise. It's got a tight wobble to it. It looks like sort of an inactive shad, almost like a shad that's dying in the early season. And guys, I'm telling you what, you get in the right situation and this thing is deadly. The biggest bag of fish I ever caught in a Bassmaster tournament was on this exact bait right here, the exact color, this bait right here, 25 pounds, 14 ounces down at Lake Gunnersville on this thing, fishing it over the grass in late February. It is a killer bait around any type of rock or any type of grass when the water temperatures are between, say, 45 and 55 degrees. That is the key element on it. Now, there's a lot of crankbaits. In fact, I did a cold water crankbait video today for my Advanced Bass Fishing channel. And I didn't talk about this one, but there's a lot of different crankbaits that work in cold water. But specifically, I want to talk about the Flap Slap as far as, the conditions that it works in good. Now, the main thing that you want to have with this is you've got to have the fish that are in like less than 5 foot of water. That bait will run, probably close to 5 feet deep on a long cast with 8-pound test line. And another thing with that, the Flap Slap is not designed for a bouncing rock. The way it's designed for going through the water column without hitting anything. This is not a bait that you bounce off the bottom. So you're reeling this thing more for suspended fish, or just off the bottom where you're not hitting the bottom, or maybe just over the top of grass beds like that. That's when it's the best out there. It's sort of like a combination between a crankbait and a jerkbait, because when I work it, guys, I'll fish it. But first of all, I do fish it on a spinning rod, the Megabass Whip Snake, because it's pretty light. And I'll throw it out there and I'll reel it down, just like a crankbait. And then once it gets deep, I'll just sort of twitch it a little bit like that when it's at its maximum depth. Slowly start reeling it and maybe twitch it a little bit. Very similar to fishing a jerkbait, except I do reel it a little bit more than twitching it. But you sort of want to vary that retrieve. You don't just want to twitch it all the way or jerk it like a jerkbait, and you don't just want to reel it in like a crankbait. Sort of like a combination between the two with that. And basically, guys, just cover water with the thing. Get on some steeper banks, throw it along those steeper rocky banks. It's a real good way to catch them. Even if you got flat or gravel banks, flat banks, steep banks, both, they work good with it. Over the top of shallow, hydrilla, or milfoil works real good in it. The ideal water clarity for this bait is going to be sort of in that 2 to 3 foot range. That is perfect for it. Maybe 1.5 feet. Let's say a 1.5 to 3.5 foot clarity is going to be perfect for it. And it also helps if you have a little bit of wind. You'll find that most of your crankbait fishing in general is better when you do have a little bit of wind out there. So if you would give me an ideal scenario, it would be like March when the water temperature is right around 50 degrees, where you have 1.5 to 3.5 foot of visibility, partly cloudy, sunny day, partly cloudy to sunny, you know, with a little bit of light, a little bit brighter light intensity, and some wind with it. That's just what makes that bait just, you know, excel over any other lure out there. So it's like any other lure, guys. There are situational windows where this thing works, and the window for the flap slap guys is fishing more that open water, cleaner banks where you're not around wood or anything like that, sort of where you're reeling this thing up over the top of the structure, and it will get you some good bites, guys. It's a quality fish lure. Different lures attract different size of fish, but one of the things I found out about the flap slap guys, it produces an above average size of fish. So I just recommend getting some, guys. If you're gonna get some, get this HT Tennessee shad pattern. It's a proven color out there. The other one that works good, there's one called an Ozark shad, which I've caught a lot of fish on, and another one called Clown. And they got a bunch of different colors. Just check them out on the link I put in the description. Just pick you guys up a couple, because it's a fun bait to fish, man. When they bite it, it's really a fun way to catch them. So hope it helps you guys catch a few. We'll talk later.